Hello, everyone.
Hey, Aramis. It's great seeing you again.
What's a pretty crystal you have there, Aramis?
Yeah, Aramis. Where did you get that from?
You guys might not believe if I told you, but this crystal was actually given to me by an extraordinary friend that came to me last night in my dreams. I am so excited to tell you about this amazing experience that I had with an inner earth being.
An inner earth being? You mean there are beings who live inside of the earth?
That's right, Skylar. This woman who visited me is one of many wonderful beings who live in gigantic caverns beneath the Earth's surface. I was following Vivian's advice to learn how to lucid dream, and I found myself in a green forest next to this tall, snowy mountain, which I later learned was Mount Shasta in California. That's when she came to me. She was tall and beautiful with white glistening hair, large, loving eyes, a white gown, and an aura that glowed brilliantly. At that point, I knew that it was more than a dream. It felt like I was having an out-of-body experience.
Wow, that sure is incredible, Aramis. Were you afraid when you saw her?
That's a great question, Jordan. Come to think of it, I wasn't afraid at all. I actually felt a strong sense of peace when I came into her energy field. As I looked into her eyes, a part of me recognized her, almost like she was family. We then started to communicate telepathically. She told me to call her Aurora, and that she lived as part of a civilization called Telos, which has existed beneath Mount Shasta for many thousands of years. She said that I was one of them in a previous life, and that there was much she wanted to show me.
That must have been so exciting for you to experience, Aramis. Please tell us more.
I was in my astral body, and I followed Aurora through a secret entrance in the mountain. We walked through this tunnel that was lit up with shiny quartz crystals. It was so beautiful. While we were walking, she told me about the history of their city. She said that a very long time ago there was a magical civilization called Lemuria that lived on the surface of the earth. The Lemurians were very spiritual and existed in a culture of unity, compassion, and service to others. The great civilization of Atlantis existed around that time as well. These civilizations were both very advanced and had connections to extraterrestrial star systems, such as Sirius, the Pleiades, and Alpha Centauri. Eventually, there were catastrophes that led to their downfall. Survivors from these civilizations made their way underground, where they have remained ever since, secretly assisting us humans on the surface.
I believe you, Aramis. I remember reading stories about brave explorers who journeyed into the earth and met these wise beings. Some Native American cultures even have legends of being they call the ant people, who took them inside of the earth to live among their species when they were in a time of need.
Thank you for sharing that information, Jordan. The Telosian civilization that Aurora is part of is far from the only one existing beneath the surface. In fact, there is a vast system of caverns connected by tunnels that is inhabited by so many incredible inner earth beings. They call this the Agartha network. Besides Mount Shasta, places such as the Andes Mountains in South America and the Himalayan Mountains in Tibet also have entrances into Agartha. Some people even think there's an entrance in Antarctica. Aurora was telling me that the Telosians used to interact more openly with humanity, where they were remembered in myths as the Shining Ones, living in a legendary city of light.
What happened next, Aramis? Did you get to see the city?
You bet I did, Skylar. When the tunnel opened up and I got to see Telos, I almost couldn't believe my eyes. It was a huge, gorgeous city of crystal buildings. And even though I was inside of the earth, it was so bright that I felt like I was out in daylight. Aurora took me on a hovercraft ride around the city, where she explained telepathically that Telos was made up of 5 levels, and it was all powered by universal energy that has been harvested in crystals. The first level is the city where most people live. Centered around a huge white temple, the Telosians are not only advanced technologically, but also spiritually. They live in love and unity just like how it was in ancient Lemuria. As we passed by, the people there all seemed so happy. They were smiling and waving like they were welcoming me back home. I felt connected to them on a deep soul level. It was all so wonderful. I felt in my heart that we already knew each other.
What's happened next, Aramis?
Afterwards, Aurora took me to the upper levels, where she showed me these magnificent gardens where they get their food from, nourished by flowing water that is energized by crystals. The people there are all vegetarian, but they don't have to eat as much as we do, because their food is full of nutrients and energy, carrying a much higher frequency. The very top levels of Telos that Aurora showed me were these enormous, beautiful parks and forests, filled with luminous plants and trees and many animals as well, some of which I had never even seen.
I can't even imagine what that must have been like, Aramis. You are so lucky to have had this experience. The whole world needs to hear about this. We should all be able to know about these amazing inner earth beings.
I agree, Jordan. Luckily, I don't think we will have to wait very long, because I haven't even told you about the most incredible part. After Aurora finished giving me a tour of Telos, she took me into a crystal palace so that I could meet their king and queen. They are chosen based on the level of spiritual evolution, and I felt so honored to be able to meet them. They were both tall and wise, with so much light shining from their eyes, sitting with a council of 13 elders. The queen spoke first, and she told me that they have been watching and guiding us in our evolution for a very long time. They can even do this telepathically by reaching out their consciousness and planting ideas in people's minds. They've been helping us to rediscover our ancient knowledge and lost history, and want us to regain access to our amazing psychic and spiritual abilities. They even told me that some of the crop circles we see come from them, because they are encoded with knowledge in sacred geometry. The king spoke afterwards. He told me that they will soon be revealing themselves again to the service population, sharing their incredible wisdom and technology. But first, we have to come together in love and raise our consciousness in order to match their level of vibration. We also have to be better caretakers of the planet, because Earth is a living being that we share with countless others. He said that many Telosians are now incarnated as humans in order to be emissaries when this shift happens. But until then, there would always be ways to contact them. That's when he gave me the Lemurian Crystal that I'm holding. Then Aurora guided me back and I woke up in my body. I didn't even know if this was real or a dream until I found the crystal underneath my pillow.
That is so incredibly cool, Aramis. I can't wait to meet the Telosians when they show themselves again.
Me neither, but an idea just came to me. Why don't we all put our hands on the crystal and focus on our intent on making contact telepathically?
I saw it! I really did! I saw the crystal city you were talking about, Aramis. It came to me in my mind's eye.
I felt it through a tingling in my heart. There was a sense that we were all connected, and I felt so much love and compassion. What about you, Vivian? Did you see or feel anything?
Yes, I was given a vision of a beautiful earth. All the trees were regrown. There was no more war or disease. And floating above the surface were these gorgeous crystal cities. Humanity had united in love and peace, and we were interacting with so many other types of kind, loving beings.
Thank you for sharing those wonderful messages and for listening to my story. That is our future that they wanted us to see once we raise our consciousness to a higher frequency, whether in the skies, beneath our feet, or within our hearts and spirits. We're living in a reality that is larger and more magnificent than we can imagine. After this experience, I'm so excited for what the future will bring. Talk to you again soon, everyone. Make sure to continue shining your light and keep your hearts and minds open.